No one expected it. The calm, gentle golden retriever who never hurt a fly suddenly found himself under attack by a tiny, fearless puppy. In seconds, peace turned into chaos. Barks echoed through the room, and everyone burst into laughter. But beneath the cuteness, something truly heartwarming was unfolding. When Max the golden retriever met a tiny black and white puppy for the first time, no one expected what happened next. What began as an innocent introduction quickly turned into a hilarious standoff. The little pup attacked with all his might, and what Max did next surprised everyone watching and melted every heart. Max was the kind of dog everyone adored. A gentle golden retriever with eyes full of calm wisdom. He had a heart as golden as his fur. Every morning, he'd trot to the porch, stretch under the sunlight, and wait patiently for his favorite part of the day, his family waking up. Children from the neighborhood often stopped by to give him treats or hugs, and Max never refused to cuddle. He was the peacemaker of the house, the silent guardian who always kept watch without ever asking for attention. Life for Max was beautifully predictable. Long walks, soft naps, and warm evenings beside his family. He had everything he could ever want. But what he didn't know was that his quiet, peaceful routine was about to be turned upside down by something, or rather, someone, so small yet so full of chaos. It all started on a bright Saturday morning when the family returned home with a surprise tucked inside a small pink blanket. Out popped a tiny black and white puppy, no bigger than a slipper, with eyes sparkling like mischief itself. Her name was Coco, and from the moment she barked, the house would never be the same again. The children squealed with joy as Coco bounced around the living room like a ping-pong ball. She barked at her reflection, chased her tail, and proudly attacked a stuffed toy twice her size. Everyone laughed, everyone except Max, who watched from his cozy spot on the couch, his head tilted in quiet confusion. When Coco noticed him, she froze. Their eyes met, the calm veteran and the fearless rookie. Then, with all the bravery her tiny paws could muster, Coco charged forward. To everyone's surprise, she headed straight for Max. The legend of their first meeting was about to begin. Coco stood still for exactly 2 seconds before letting out a squeaky bark that sounded more adorable than intimidating. Then, without warning, she launched herself at Max like a tiny furry missile. Her little paws slapped against his face as she nipped playfully at his ears, tail wagging furiously. The family burst into laughter. Max, however, didn't quite share their amusement. He blinked, tilted his head, and stared down at the bouncing ball of fur that was now tugging at his tail. His calm brown eyes seemed to ask, "Is this happening?" Coco barked again, as if shouting victory. She climbed onto his paw, puffed up her tiny chest, and gave the world's most confident growl. Max sighed, a deep, patient sigh, before lowering his head gently to the floor. He didn't fight back. He simply watched as Coco declared herself queen of the couch. By the time she was done, Coco pranced proudly around him while Max lay still, looking both confused and amused. The attack was over, and the tiny tornado had officially conquered the gentle giant. Max didn't bark, growl, or even move when Coco launched her playful ambush. He simply watched her with quiet curiosity, as if trying to understand what this tiny creature wanted from him. His tail gave a slow, patient wag, not of excitement, but of acceptance. When Coco finally grew tired from her heroic battle, she stumbled in a sleepy circle and collapsed right on top of Max's paw. The family laughed softly as Max froze, afraid to move and disturb her. His big brown eyes softened, and something shifted inside him. A quiet understanding, a spark of protectiveness. In that gentle moment, Max seemed to decide that this little whirlwind wasn't his enemy at all. She was his responsibility. As Coco snored softly on his paw, Max lowered his head beside her and sighed. The kind of sigh that meant peace, not surrender. That evening, the sky darkened, and heavy clouds rolled in. A sudden clap of thunder rattled the windows, startling everyone, but none more than little Coco. Her tiny body trembled as she darted under the couch, whimpering softly. The fearless attacker from earlier was now just a frightened puppy hiding from the storm. Max lifted his head from his nap, ears perked. He looked around, then slowly got up and padded toward the couch. For a moment, the room fell silent except for the sound of rain tapping against the windows. Max lowered himself to the floor and peered beneath the couch. There she was, wide-eyed, shaking, refusing to come out. Gently, Max stretched out his nose and nudged her. Coco hesitated, then crept forward, inch by inch, until she pressed herself against his chest. Max curled around her protectively, shielding her from the thunder. The storm outside roared on, but inside, something softer was born: trust. From that night on, Coco never left Max's side. Wherever he went, her tiny paws followed, sometimes tripping over his tail, sometimes barking at imaginary threats, but always staying close. Max had officially become her protector, her teacher, and most importantly, her best friend. Mornings became their favorite time together. Max would lie in the yard, soaking up the sun, while Coco pounced on falling leaves and proudly brought them to him like trophies. He'd watch her antics with a calm patience, occasionally nudging her away from mischief with a gentle paw. But playtime was their true bond. Coco still launched her attacks, tugging at Max's ears and leaping onto his back, but now Max played along, rolling gently, letting her win every time. The once serious retriever was now smiling, tail wagging, heart wide open. What began as chaos had turned into companionship. The tiny puppy who once attacked, Max had, without realizing it, stolen his heart completely. In the weeks that followed, Coco and Max became inseparable. The family often joked that the house now had two shadows, one big and golden, the other tiny and unstoppable. Watching them together was like witnessing pure love in motion, patient, loyal, and endlessly forgiving. Max had taught Coco calmness, and Coco had reminded Max how to play again. Their friendship proved something simple yet powerful. Sometimes, love doesn't begin with peace, it begins with chaos. And in that joyful mess, hearts find each other in the most unexpected ways. Max may have survived the world's cutest attack, but he gained something far greater: a best friend who filled his days with laughter and love. If this story warmed your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more beautiful tales of friendship, loyalty, and the magic of animals.